Hi, welcome back to another Gadget Report. Let's talk gadgets, and today I am going to revisit the topic of the fuel crisis um, and provide a few updates. So come with me and let's see what is going on with the fuel crisis around the world. So let's talk about the fuel crisis. And as you know, last month I published a video about the effects of the current war in aviation. And otherwise, I think everything is being affected. At the time, fuel prices had a massive increase, and there was fear of massive fuel shortages due to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which is one of the main routes for fuel around the world. I spoke about how airlines were making decisions and taking measures to secure the fuel supply, but at the time nothing was guaranteed. Well, it's still not fully over. At the time I'm recording this video, apparently a peace agreement has just been signed between the United States and Iran, but as you know, everything is very volatile, and we already been through similar occasions like this, and then it all end up going back to conflict. So I hope this time around it stands and the war is over. The last communication was that the Strait of Hormuz would be fully open, and U.S. blockade on Iranian ports would be they would cease that blockade. So this is good news. So let's hope it remains this way and everything goes back. So now, this month, IATA reported on their newsletter that despite the war, demand remained resilient, and of course, things remained high. And we know that. We know people still want to fly, people still want to go on holidays, although another factor that might be also influencing this is obviously the cost of living pressures, and with current measures in Australia, for example, regarding property, it's not going to go anywhere, and it's getting harder, both for owners and renters. They say there was a rebalance where airlines try to mitigate the problem with diversions and use of other routes. And we know that, we've seen that. Most of airlines, of course, the Middle Eastern airlines, most of them were highly disrupted, and in the majority of cases, they really had to cancel flights and not fly at all. But all the other ones started compensating that, avoiding the stopovers in those ports, in those massive hubs, like for example Dubai, and they used the Asian ports or otherwise, and they rerouted their flights in order to avoid the conflict zone and still be able to operate. This has been kind of an occurrence with most airlines. So, of course, this did not stop the war or its effects. It was just a measure, yet another measure, an extra measure that the aviation industry and airlines were putting in place to try to mitigate the effects of this horrible war. In terms of fuel, a report published also by IATA shows that the fuel price seems to be bouncing back as well. It showed a peak in April, but it seems to be showing slowing down in May. If this trend continues, it might be good news for the industry and for us all. Another thing that I should add is that, for example, in Australia, we also had the discount on the fuel excise that also reduces the price by more than 20 cents per liter. So obviously that has been helping. But of course, all these other measures worldwide have also been kind of helping, especially when you have countries and governments trying to get supplies somewhere else because, of course, they want to avoid that particular area and they want to avoid their petrol coming from those particular ports because, of course, the strait is closed or has been closed. The same that happened with passengers, where airlines tried to rebalance the market and travel through different routes, as I said before, to avoid the conflict zone. And that was something that in those first days we had a few cancellations, we had a few issues, but then airlines quickly started to bounce back from that and try to mitigate the problem going elsewhere, choosing other ports, choosing other routes. This is really something that it's important because they were avoiding the conflict zone, and of course that would not only calm passengers or reassuring passengers, because of course if you have a flight booked and you know that you're going to fly over a conflict zone, you won't be that happy. You will be kind of concerned that you're going to fly over a conflict zone. And if an airline tells you, oh, no, we're not going to fly there, we're going to fly elsewhere, that is a layer of reassurance. As I said as well, governments look for suppliers away from the conflict zone as well, not only to secure the supply, which is very important, but also to lower the costs, because we know that at the moment the petrol from there it's extremely high, but elsewhere would be too, but they are always looking for something to, of course, minimize the costs and the disruption. In my view, the dangers of this is that we might be buying petrol or fuel from countries that we do not want to buy, and that is something that I would be very cautious of it, because we know that some of these countries may be buying from countries like Russia, etc., and that could be a problem because our supplier, because our supplier's supplier may be someone else. I think questions need to be asked and the supply chain fully disclosed in order to these agreements and deals being signed with other countries to ensure we are not doing the wrong thing, but we still keep helping secure our fuel supply. So it is a fine line. I think it is a fine line. You need to secure your fuel supply. You need to mitigate this disruption. You need to help the prices down. But again, you don't want to be buying your fuel from the bad guys. So it's kind of problematic here. As I said, today it was announced that there is been a peace agreement between the US and Iran. So that's a good thing. If this agreement stands, it will be great news for everyone, because obviously will mean that the strait will be open, and that's what it was said on the news, that the strait would be open, the US blockades would be over, and the situation will soon resume to its normality. We hope that this is the case, and soon we have at least some relief on this front, because obviously this situation, and even though we have this discount on the fuel excise to mitigate the high prices in Australia, this discount is due to finish, I believe, at the end of this month, and of course that will be an issue. And the fuel prices is something that is adding to the cost of living, because it affects everything. It doesn't affect just the traveling, which, let's face it, it's something that we can put aside. We can go on another time and not fly at all, because all the days is not a necessity or a primary necessity, but affects everything. Our food needs to be transported either by trains or planes or cars or trucks, so fuel is present everywhere. Not much with planes, but with trains or obviously trucks, and that it has a flow-on effect with everything else. So our clothes, our food, everything we buy is affected, because everything we buy or everything we need needs to be transported to the store so we can buy it. So I really hope this is the start of the light at the end of the tunnel. I hope we really see the end of this conflict, and all conflicts for that matter, and soon we start going back to a much acceptable and normal fuel pricing, together with everything else. I decided to bring this today because I think this is a very important topic, and it's something that is affecting us all and is been doing so for quite a while. And given that this agreement was just signed, I think it was really important to mention this. I hope you liked it. So for today, I hope you liked this gadget report today. At least I hope I could bring you some good news. I think that if this agreement stands, it will definitely be good news. Not just because of the fuel crisis, but obviously the human crisis and everything else. So I hope this is really a fact, and it stands, and this war is actually over. I also hope that this situation with the fuel is resolved as well, because it's been massive, and we can go back to some normality, I would say. I hope you liked it. If you have any suggestions of any other topics that you would like me to discuss in our gadget report, I don't know, a very important aviation event in your town, something like that, a new airline, whatever it might be, just leave me a comment below. I'll be very happy to investigate and create a gadget report just for you. And of course, if you have any thing to add to this video, for example, has your government put in place any measures to mitigate the situation with the fuel crisis, any discounts or anything like that? Let us know. How is the situation going in your own country? Have you seen actually a stabilization of pricing, or is still really pretty much out of control? I would like to know. I think it's important that we discuss these things and we know what's going on around the world with actual people that deal with these situations on an everyday basis. And of course, put a like on the video and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new gadget report every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching and I'll see you next week, and fasten your seatbelts. We are about to hit some turbulence. Bye!